And recording. So, since I've been back, I've been treating this channel a little bit like a vlog, in addition to the reactions. Every so often, just popping up to talk on a topic or just have some fun. Uh, the last couple of days, I've had a specific topic that I wanted to kind of discuss, and I was going to approach it in a much more aggressive way. But it's been a few days, so I've calmed down a little bit. Yeah, fix this screen. And I've decided to approach it slightly differently. And if you guys have been paying attention, everything's off the top of my head. No bullet points, no nothing. I think the main topics I do want to hit, I think, revolve around music consumption and fandom, like what it means to be a fan and what music is. It's different things to different people. Obviously, there's no one answer to any of those things. But let's start with music consumption, I guess. Just because, like, as I've gotten older, I've noticed I've changed the way that I consume music at various points in my life. Currently, with the channel, it's much more episodic, much more about specific tracks than it is like an entire album. Because if I come across a band I like, for example, generally what I would do previously would be, oh, let me find the most recent album or the album that the track is from and give the whole thing a listen all the way through. But because I'm doing this channel, I'm kind of spacing things out so I have more content to do later. Uh, and no one's forcing me to do it this way. It's just I kind of feel like I have to, uh, since the channel's still active. And I remember back when I was a kid in high school, I had so many CDs that I would just cycle through and listen all the way through and go to the next one all the way through, next one all the way through, just constantly listening to music all the time until like you memorize the lyrics, it becomes second nature. You hear it on the radio as well, and I find that now I don't do that. I rarely listen to albums anymore. I almost exclusively listen to like playlist, or like I'll turn on like a Pandora station or go on Spotify or something. So it's more sporadic, more piecemeal. Um, yeah, I think now that we have so much more access to so much more music, you kind of lose that focus where you kind of just want to go, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Give me more variety, variety. It's a spice of life, they say. Speaking of which, spicy. So for me personally, I mentioned it in one of my reaction videos. I tend to look for things that stand out, either because they sound different, original, or there's just that connection that you make where like you can tell the song is about something. It's not just like oh, we want to make something fun or something that yeah, like it's a good melody, but like that's what the entire song is. Like I'll use this as an example. When I was a little kid, much younger than I previously stated, when I was like 13, say, I remember big into comic books and I wanted to learn how to draw. And I had a clear grid that I got from math class because we were doing algebra 2, geometry, and we needed it to graph to put on the overhead projector. That dates me. But I remember I would tape the grid over comic book art, and then I'd get like a large poster board, and I'd draw a grid on it so that I could then draw things to the grid, which is kind of like tracing in a way. So you're copying the image and expanding it, but it's not your own art. You have a template, and you're in essence tracing it. So there are musical templates. There are bands that we've all listened to. And if you make a song in that style or in that way, yeah, it's going to sound good, but someone else already did it. It's someone else's voice, and you're just copying them. It's like cover bands. They're great, but they're playing covers. Like, if your own voice doesn't come through, then there's no real reason to listen to you. Yeah, like you can be very technically sound and good playing, but again, like it's if you're not saying anything, is it worth listening to other than just having it on in the background as just like background noise? Like I think most of the music consumption that I do right now is twofold. When I go to the gym, I have a Pandora station that's based around Gojira, just because I want something loud and pumping, and I want the BPMs, the tempo, to be pretty fast. And generally, while I'm working out, I'm not even paying attention to it. Not really. Occasionally, I'll just be like, oh, what's this song? I haven't heard it before. But the Pandora station, the algorithm, it just plays like the same like groupings over and over. So it goes to the point where you're not even really paying attention to it. And it's just kind of there. And it's just repetitive because you've heard it so many more times before. And then, yeah, it's just there in the background to keep you motivated. So you're not even really paying attention to the art of it, the music of it. And then the secondary way that I've been listening to music recently is that in promoting my own stuff, I'll go to a message board that has other people posting their music. So you listen to their stuff, you critique it, or just give them like a thumbs up, whatever, so that they can then in turn listen to your stuff and do the exact same thing, marketing kind of thing. So I've been listening to a lot of there's a lot of hip hop, a lot of electronica, a lot of it really bad because it's people just starting out, and yeah, they haven't found their niche, they haven't found their voice, they haven't found an audience just yet, so they're trying different things out. Um, yeah, it's interesting. So you tend to hear a lot of repetition, a lot of the same beats, a lot of the same cadences, and it turns into a thing where everything just becomes kind of bland and generic. So I get into that mindset where like I especially get excited when again something new, original, unique, and something that pops your interest. And going back to the whole voice thing, like if say for a hip hop track, if all you're doing is saying like yeah, 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 and like the intro's just 30 seconds of you being like, oh, y'all not ready for this. Oh man, I'm about to drop it. It's coming in. It's just like you're not saying anything. And it's the same thing with like even like heavy metal. If you're just in generic topics and playing generic beats and doing generic melodies, like yeah, it'll sound good, but It's not saying anything, so there's no real point to it as far as I'm concerned, because we already have plenty of music that we know and we like, and you can always just have that on in the background if you just need something to just have on. And I remember back when I used to pay for music, where you would actually buy CDs, like you felt like you had to listen to the whole thing because you spent money on it, even if it was a bad like album. You're like, well, I paid for it, so gotta give the whole thing a chance. And switching over to like fandom and just conversations about fans, I feel like there are two types of fans, probably more, but there are people who enjoy the product and can think objectively and say whether something's good or bad and say, I enjoy this portion of it, or I enjoy the whole of it, or this album is good, this album not so much, and then this third one, awesome, mind blowing. And then there are the people who fall into the cult of personality, um, where the music's secondary. They care about the celebrity. For example, I think well, I won't name names just because you hate to have like an entire army of people come at you. um, like if you denigrate their cult leader. Nah, but it's one of those things where like once you grow up with a certain band or artist, then it becomes more about like, hey, I like this person, so they release new music, so it lets me keep up with what they're doing in their life and feel close to them, even though the music sucks or is kind of empty at times. And again, no specific person. I'm just, we'll call this a hypothetical artist. Um, but I tend to be the kind of person that is more objective and critical and just say, hey, they're great musicians. This track, not for me. Or this one, it seems like they're trying something different. Didn't quite hit the way I think they wanted it to. It's like how everyone says, like, Load and Reload from Metallica are terrible, or how they'll bitch about Lars's drumming, but they'll still like Metallica and pay like $500 for a ticket to go see them, which I would never pay that much to just see one band, no matter who it is. It's just price gouging. Mm. And what's funny about this channel specifically of what I'm doing is that having been on those sort of message boards where there are people kind of trying to market themselves, it has me realizing that people claim to be fans but aren't fans in the way that they used to be or people used to be. Because when I was growing up, again, I'm gonna keep harping back on that young days. I'm an old man, bitter. Urgh. Get off my lawn. Uh, if you heard a song that you really liked, you'd go up to your friends and say, "Hey, you gotta check this out. It's so great." Or you really like a band, you'd call up the radio station and you'd be like, "Hey, can you guys play this song? Or is this single out yet?" Or you'd burn copies of CDs for your friends and just be like, "Oh, you gotta check this out." Like you would spread awareness, and you'd try to get people to um, you'd encourage people to listen to the people that you like, so that the band could make more money, so that they can then continue making music. So you'd have more stuff, more songs that you can enjoy. And in that whole marketing kind of aspect of it, it's funny how often someone will send you a message and just be like, "Hey, you have a great sound. I really like your point of view, or that track is banging. Blah 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 blah. I want to put it on a playlist of mine on Spotify." And you think, oh wow, you really liked it? Awesome, cool, yeah, definitely. Whatever you want to do, yeah, definitely. You have my permission. And like, all right, cool, cool. It'll be $20 guarantees, 100 listens, and then you kind of just shake your head and you're like, oh, you didn't actually like the song. You're just trying to segue into like me paying you money so that you can bot farm it. And that happens a lot in music nowadays. Like so many of gold record sellers don't actually have a fan base at all. It's just bot farming. That people can do that's kind of defeats the point of creating art. Whatever. But with this channel, despite the fact that I'm doing everything possible to keep it small, from not editing my videos very much, if at all, to the poor lighting, the terrible camera. Like, I don't give a shit about this. I'm constantly cursing and drinking, which you're not supposed to do in these videos, apparently. That demonetizes you. And I don't make money from this. But I've gotten a handful of comments here and there. Excuse me, again, the drinking. From like a handful of people just saying that they actually watch my videos and have found bands that they didn't know about. So like very slowly, without even meaning to, I'm creating a community here. I have like 1,400 subscribers. How the fuck did that happen? I don't know. But yeah, like I give music and musicians and bands a chance. Like if I didn't like a song, I could very well, like within the first minute, just go pause, hate it, bye. I'm not gonna even listen to it. I'll play the whole thing. I give it a chance. And even if I don't like it, I have 1,400 subscribers who may like probably not watch the video, but the name of the band will come up. And so like they're getting marketed to by me to a band I might not like, because it's not about whether I like a track. Well, it is because it's my channel, but at the same time, like the whole point is to expose people to other bands as well. So like, I'm finding new music. You're finding music vis-a-vis these videos. This is a long video, but yeah, like so as a fan of music, I feel it's something good to do, to just spread like names of bands, styles of music. So that's why I think at the beginning of the pandemic, when I started this channel, the biggest growth I had was when I started doing like the Japanese music reactions. So if I wanted to grow this channel, I would have exclusively done that, or done um, big names, big bands. But I don't give a shit about that. It's about music. It's about awareness. So going forward, I think I'm not really gonna engage people in the comments or anything. Like if someone's stupid and comes in and doesn't understand what this channel is or what I'm doing, I'm just gonna delete the comment and not even bother with them. Again, this channel is just for me, for the most part. I do have like a handful of people that seem to watch these videos um, pretty regularly, and yeah, so small community. They suggest stuff to me. Sometimes I play stuff that they might not know. It's a give and take because at the end of the day, it's about A, listening to good music, and B, exposure for artists so that they can continue making more music. Because even if I don't necessarily like one track or one album, who's to say a year from now, 2 years from now, they don't put out another record? That just blows my mind. So it's nice to just be aware of people, to know what their point of view is, and then if you find or come across something that isn't necessarily to your liking, as a fan, the best thing you can do is just say, hey, yeah, that might not be the best track off that album. Try this one instead. Or, oh, you like something heavier? Then you might enjoy this album that has a different direction. Or there's more screaming in this one. Just hating on someone because they didn't like a band that you have built your identity around, that's stupid. And it's detrimental to your band that you apparently like, because then I'm not going to give a shit about them and I'm never going to come back. And that's just like marketing, free advertising that they're going to lose. So, either you want to support the people that you say you like, or you don't.